Check one, two. Testing audio. Check one, two. Testing audio.
Hi, Kieran. I'm just doing a mic check.
Hi, Caster Presente. Can we test your audio, please?
Hey, it's working 5 by 5.
Good morning. Thank you.
Check one, two. Testing audio. Check one, two.
Reading you loud and clear.
Hi, Caster Pulaski. Can we test your audio, please?
Hi, good morning.
Thank you.
As we begin today's meeting, we'd like to acknowledge that we are gathering here today on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas, the Credit, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat nations who have called this land home since time immemorial. Please all rise for the singing of our national anthem, to be followed by a moment of personal reflection.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for stand on guard for
Welcome to our regular council meeting of November 19th, 2025. We have in the council chamber Councillor Santos, Councillor Brar, Councillor Pleshy, Councillor Keenan, Deputy Mayor Singh, Councillor Power, and online we have
Through Mayor, online we have Councillor Vicente and Councillor Fortini.
This takes us to our approval of the agenda. Are there any other items members wish to raise at this point? I see Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to add a discussion item, an in-camera discussion item for a commercial acquisition matter. I spoke with the city solicitor, and it's a proper matter to be considered and closed pursuant to section 239(2)K.
Thank you, Councillor Keenan. We have an item from Councillor Santos.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I would like to add an announcement regarding the Oscar nomination of Brampton produced and filmed I Am No Queen.
Thank you, Councillor Santos. We have Deputy Mayor Singh.
Thank you. I'd like to add correspondence 14.3 on Sikh Genocide Remembrance and referral back to staff for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Singh. Councillor Pleshy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to add two in-camera items, both potential litigation, as they're both in, with respect to, they're both in an RFP process. One is the Siemens property, and the other is Embleton.
Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Also, there was a referral on the planning agenda. From my understanding, it made its way to the agenda, but I think Commissioner Ganesh can respond.
Yeah. Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Pleshy, it's items 18.1 and 18.2. Staff still need a bit more time to have some conversations with the applicant and brief council before those enacting bylaws can come to council, so I'd suggest that they be removed from today's agenda.
So you can repeat that?
Through you, Mayor Brown, it's items 18.1 and 18.2 on today's agenda. Staff need additional time to consult with the applicant and brief the ward councillors prior to those matters coming before council. Okay. So I'd ask that they be removed from today's agenda. It was an administrative error by putting them on today's agenda.
Okay. And Councillor Bush, is that satisfactory?
Yeah, if people want to know what they are, though, you should tell them what they are.
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councilor Paleshi, the item was in relation to a zoning bylaw and official plan amendment for commercial plaza establishment at El Camino Way and Credit View. There was direction to staff at the November 3rd Planning Committee to look at options to remove access from El Camino Way, and staff are still exploring those options.
Okay. Are there any other items? Hearing none. We have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Plush to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor? Motion carries. We are now at item 3, declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Does any member have any declaration of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act for any matter to be considered on today's agenda? Noting none, the clerk will so note. Adoption of minutes. We have the following City Council minutes before us today. Minutes City Council, regular meeting, October 29th, 2025. Do any members have any questions or comments regarding the minutes? Seeing none, with motion moved by Councillor Brar, second by Councillor Santos, to approve the minutes as published and circulated. All those in favor? Okay, so can I have some hands? Motion carries. This takes us to the consent motion. Council, as part of our consent motion process, I will read each agenda item that is subject to the consent motion, and any member may verbally identify the item to be held for debate during the meeting. Any item not held for debate will be considered as part of the consent motion and voted on for approval. I'll start reading the relevant agenda items, and members can identify any items to be held for debate. 8.1, Government Relations Matters. 10.41, Staff Report, Request for Exempt 9779 Heritage Road from the Interim Control Bylaw. 12.1, Minutes, Committee of Council, October 22nd. 12.2, Minutes, Planning Development Committee, November 3rd. 12.3, Summary Recommendations, Committee of Council meeting, November 12th. 15.1, Notice of Motion to improve sepsis recognition and response. Councilor Brar, you want to hold that? Yeah. Held. 16.1, Referred Matters List. 19.1, Closed Session Minutes. 19.2, Closed Session Minutes, Committee of Council, November 12th. 19.3, Closed Report, Committee of Adjustment Decision. 11075 Clarkway Drive. Okay, held. 19.3 is held. 19.4, Closed Report, Options in-kind advertising support. Hold. Okay, so the clerk will go over the items that have been held.
Through Mayor Brown, the following items have been held and are not part of the consent motion. 15.1, Notice of Motion to improve sepsis recognition and response. 19.3, Closed Report, Committee of Adjustment Decision. And 19.4, Closed Report, Options for in-kind support.
Okay. I have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Singh, seconded by Councillor Power to approve the consent motion. All those in favor? Motion carries. We have proclamations today. A number of proclamations. The first is for Adoption Awareness Month, but I just want to double check with Councillor Brar. You have a delegation today that is time sensitive. It's this proclamation, correct?
Through you, Mayor.
Yeah.
Thank you, through you, Mayor.
Do you want to
Yeah.
introduce the item then?
Yes. For Adoption Awareness Month, if there's a couple of delegations that are going to be coming, they're time sensitive. We do have Superfan Nav Bhatia and her daughter Tia Bhatia that do have a flight later on. So I just want to make sure we're managing time appropriately for them. So if we can have them come up after the proclamation.
Okay, is there a corresponding item to go along with that?
No.
No. Okay, so then they're up now.
Perfect.
So
Thank
the
you.
first item is Adoption Awareness Month, and if Councillor Brar wants to read out the proclamation.
Thank you. Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Adoption Awareness Month. November is recognized across Canada as Adoption Awareness Month, a time dedicated to raising awareness about adoption, celebrating adoptive families, and emphasizing the importance of giving every child and youth the opportunity to grow up in a safe, loving, and permanent home. Adoption changes lives, providing children and youth with stability, belonging, and unconditional love, and gives parents, including those who may not be able to have biological children, a deeply meaningful path to building a family. Adoption Awareness Month seeks to break down barriers within our communities by fostering dialogue, dispelling myths, and encouraging acceptance and inclusion of all forms of family. Organizations and community partners continue to work tirelessly to promote awareness, supportive adoptive families, and empower children in youth and care, helping to ensure that every child finds home, safety, belonging they deserve. The City of Brampton proudly supports efforts that help remove social and cultural barriers, ensuring that every resident feels seen, supported, and welcome, and that every child has the opportunity to belong to a forever family. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim November as Adoption Awareness Month in the City of Brampton.
Now, I believe we have a response, and knowing that there are flights to be caught, I'm going to suggest that we hear from this group and then take a photo so that they can make their tight timelines. Councillor Pleshy is hopeful that you're going somewhere warm. Wow. Okay. Well, please, the microphone is yours to speak about this proclamation.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, all the visitors also. I'm a little bit nervous because I've never been in this kind of a environmental in the political setting, you know. But bear with me. If I fumble, please bear with me and forgive me. First of all, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good. I think I'm a Raptor super fan for the last 30 years. I expect a little more. You know, we are all in the best country in the world. How are you guys doing? Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Honorable Mayor Brown and Council, and for having me here along with my daughter. I'm so proud of you that everybody knows that I'm adopted a father of Tia Bhatia, and there is still a lot of stigma about adoption. And I just want to commend you that you are bringing the awareness there. We need a lot of awareness. And like the proclamation said, that every kid deserves a safe, happy environment. And thank you for City of Brampton to be a part of that in doing about that. I started my journey in Canada in '84 after the genocide in India with the Sikhs, and this country accepted me. Yes, I had speed bumps in my life, but very shortly after that, I was able to settle down. But as a parent who got married in '83, came here with my wife and rented a place in Malton for $350 and finally found a job in a car industry. Job was one thing, but you know, all of us as adults, married people, want to complete our family, and the kids are a big part of it. It was I come from India, a very poor country, and a country where I'm ashamed to say that in early 80s, they were still, when the daughters were born, they were living in a grocery bag to die because of dowry and all that. I've always in my adult life used to see little girls who were left over on the street, and they grew up to be beggars and all that. And I always thought that one day I'm going to have a kid and make her as my daughter. That opportunity came. My wife had a very severe rheumatoid arthritis right after my marriage. Her mother died of rheumatoid arthritis at a very young age. So we went out to adopt, and there were a lot of speed bumps. Maybe I don't know the system now, but I'm sure there are a lot of parents right now who want to have a baby. And adoption, I just want to say, I'm speaking from my experience. I picked up a girl from streets of Delhi in 1984, in 1991. There were 17, 18 girls. Let me share with you. I'm going to be very organic about it. So I'm not going to be in a particular points I have. I want to speak from my heart because this topic is just to speak from heart and people understand who are attached with this. There were 18 girls at the time. Tia was the fastest runner and was the first one to come, so she became our daughter. I wish I could have adopted all other 17 girls, but the laws don't agree. And a lot of people say, then why didn't you adopt a second person? Guys, I was going to adopt a second person. I was approved it by the Social Ontario of Adoption. And you know, one beautiful thing about here is that every time you adopt a kid, for first 5, 6 years, the society comes, the social worker comes and checks out that is the baby being proper and everything is proper with the baby. And the environment is good at the home. Well, I was approved for the second adoption, and there was one last meeting left with the social worker. And the social worker came to my home to interview me, my daughter, who was 6 years old at the time. And I'd already told my daughter, we had told my daughter, me and my wife, about adoption, that we adopted her. We are very transparent with her. I didn't want it to live in any wrong assumption. So she was good with that. She was very mature at age of 6, and she accepted that we were. So the social worker comes and she talks to me, talks to my wife, and financially I was okay to adopt the second one. And then they wanted to talk to my daughter, Tia Bhatia. And they talked to her, they said, look, you're going to have another sibling with you. She was excited about it. They said, you will have to share this, you will have to share this, you have to share the toys. You have to, you know, they have their way. The social worker have a way to talk to, and the parents, we have to stay shut at the time. So they said, you know what, you will have to share your mom. She was okay with that. And then they asked her, you will have to share your dad. She says, no, I'm not going to share my dad. I'm going to hurt the baby. So that's the reason, guys, I'm sharing with you all that because of her, I was not able to adopt a second baby. So, but I tell you, this journey has been so good. She made me a complete man. She made me not just a father, but a complete family. The energy, the love she gave me and gave us, I would say my wife and us. I think my wife survived the rheumatoid arthritis because of Tia Bhatia, the love she gave. I always, 5 years ago, I was in Ottawa with Prime Minister Trudeau, introduced my movie called Superfan on CBC Doc. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out because it will tell you more about adoption a little bit. And I remember Prime Minister introducing that movie to all the member parliaments. They were like, everybody was there from all the parties. And the Prime Minister said that, thank you, now you adopted Tia Bhatia. I said, Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, I have to correct you. It's not that I adopted Tia Bhatia. Thanks, Tia Bhatia, who adopted us as a family. So thank you, Tia, to coming to our life. I was just a struggling general manager in 1984, in 1991, 92. Since she has come, I want to let you know my life has changed. Not just my physical life, the mental life, but also the other life. From a general manager, I own now 5 dealerships with God's grace, and I believe she has a lot to do with it. Her presence in my family, in our family, has a lot to do with it. The love she gives. She has given me more love. She has given us more love than we have given her. So adoption is a very important, and I'm thankful once again to Honorable Mayor Brown and the council, and especially Navjeet Kaur, for bringing this up. We need more awareness on this topic. I tell you, we have a lot of kids who need good home, and there are a lot of good parents who need these kids to be taken care of. So making an awareness, working with the government, cutting down the red tape will help, and I tell you, we'll make a better society. Thank you very much for having me here today. Thank you.
Well, members of council, Councilor Burr, I think you have a few comments to say.
Thank you, Nav. That was really refreshing to hear, a story just from your heart. And your journey as adoptive father is truly inspiring and speaks volumes about the power and love and family beyond biology. And really, by opening your heart and home to your daughter, you've shown our community what it means to create a family built on unconditional love, care, and belonging. And really, your story really helps break down the stigma and the cultural barriers that still exist, especially in the South Asian communities, where adoption is really misunderstood or kept quiet. You are a living example that adoption is beautiful, life-changing act, and not only for children, but also for parents too. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time for coming out here and really sharing your story.
Well, I believe we got some proclamations we'll present. Oh, and Tia, did you want to come and say a word? Yes.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you, Dad, for throwing me under the bus. That was not cool, but that's okay. Number one thing is thank you to the council, thank you to Honorable Mayor Patrick Brown, and thank you to Navjeet Kaur, who relentlessly was constantly emailing, finding contact numbers to get into contact with both of us so that we could come here and speak today. Now, I really want to begin with saying, for those of you who don't know me, my dad already made me cry, so I'm like trying to recoup right now. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tia Bhatia. I am an actress and content creator who amassed a following, a beautiful following, by sharing my adoption story online. And growing up, I would always ask my mom, as a kid does, Mom, where do kids come from? Where do these babies come from? And instead of just deflecting, she decided to choose honesty and clarity. And that's where my dad said, I want to build that trust. So at 6, they told me that I was adopted. And wow, what a beautiful and magical word it truly is. And to speak about it here today, it is so impactful and powerful because I feel like once you normalize adoption, it is one of the best things you can do for humanity itself, because it shouldn't be something that is taboo, something that is very hush-hush, not spoken about. It should be normalized because it truly changed my life. As you can tell with my dad being emotional and probably holding himself out right there with his red eyes. Being told, like I said, was trust and clarity. And that's something that really, truly shaped my life today. It shaped myself to the point where I would go to school and tell kids that, look, everyone, I am adopted, because I was proud about my story. But unfortunately, of course, you come across the bullying aspect. They will always find something to pick on you, and adoption was what they decided to pick on me. And I was bullied and told that my birth parents didn't want me. But I was so confused because my parents were very open and honest and gave me a lot of clarity that they chose me, they fought for me. But why am I being told this? So it was something that I had carried with me. And as I got older, I eventually was like, you know what, let me speak to my parents and tell them this. And that open and honesty made me realize how much adoption is normal. My thinking is normal. They're the ones that are incorrect. So let me help educate them to tell them how beautiful it truly is. Still crying, still trying to compose myself. Growing up in this beautiful, loving, and loud, proud Punjabi family was truly so magical. I was given so much love. Not even once did any family member bring up any conversation about being adopted. It felt like there was no such thing, that I am just their child. And that's what it's supposed to feel like. Feeling loved and chosen and being celebrated. Adoption today and how it shaped my life is very interesting because now, being online, I speak about adoption. Until this day, I do get comments, negative comments, unfortunately, within my own community about adoption. And it truly breaks my heart because you realize more and more how taboo it actually is, how people really want to bring you down, lower your self-esteem just because you were chosen. But that's not something they understand. People like to think that blood is thicker than water. I do not believe that. I believe in chosen family. Like my father said, we didn't adopt you, you adopted us. I truly believe that. There are many members in our own family. Yes, biology is a beautiful way to create a bigger family, but there's probably many members that you genuinely do not speak to, do not have that relationship with. You choose your family. Your friends become your sisters and brothers. Your family, which is my mom and dad, I chose them because they were so open and honest and clear with me. And one of the most beautiful things I have to share is that when I asked my dad, what would you have done? And I decided that I wanted to go and see my history, find out who my birth parents are. And the most beautiful thing he said to me was, if you want to go on that journey, we will go on that journey with you. It takes a very powerful person to say that. And when he said that, it made me very emotional. And I said, what would you do when you'd meet my birth mother? He said, I would hug her. And he goes, I would thank her for giving me the best gift in my life, because this life truly has changed me and changed all of us. And that is something I hold deeply to my heart. And it makes me realize that honesty, clarity, and trust is truly important. And I really, really hope that in the future, even if it could happen now, it would be wonderful. But I know this is something that takes time, that within the South Asian community, we look at adoption as something powerful and not anything less. I am not less than my parents' child. I am their child. I am here because of them. They are here because of me. And we stand together strong as a family. Thank you very much.
Because this topic is so important, I believe Councillor Brar has a request.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. If council allows, we can have 3 more organizations just speak on behalf of Adoption Awareness Month, if that would be okay with council. Perfect.
I don't see any objections. If the next organization, Councillor Brar, is
Ontario Adoption Council of Ontario. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Mayor, councillors, and guests, thank you for inviting me to come today. My name is Dawn Tracy, and I am the manager of the PACT New Services Programs at the Adoption Council of Ontario. But I also want to share something personal. I'm a long-standing resident of Brampton. I raised my family in Brampton. I've spent most of my career working in Brampton, and I was raised in an adoptive family. So being here today in my city, speaking about Adoption Awareness Month, has deep meaning for me. And following all that emotion is not easy. Thank you for recognizing the importance of this month and for acknowledging the experiences of adoptees, families, and youth in our community. Families in Brampton are beautifully diverse and created in many ways, through birth, through kinship, through customary care, and by adoption. Across Ontario and here in Brampton, there are children and youth who have experienced loss, disruptions, and many moves. And there are families who have stepped forward to give them security, belonging, safety, and love. But adoption is not a one-day moment. It's a lifelong journey of understanding the impact of those losses and disruptions, one that needs communities to wrap around families with ongoing support. The Adoption Council of Ontario, established in 1987, is a provincial nonprofit charity that exists to help permanency families thrive, adoptive families, kinship families, and customary care families. We offer education for caregivers, support for professionals, and connection for anyone navigating the adoption experience. What I want to highlight today are our child and youth programs, which are especially meaningful and urgently needed. One of our most unique parts of our work is our online child and youth hangouts, the only service of its kind in Ontario. These groups give children and teens living in adoptive and permanency families a chance to connect with others who truly understand their experiences, whose families are just like theirs. They find acceptance, community, and a sense of belonging that many have never felt before. These programs are funded entirely through private donations, and the funding is not enough to meet the demand, let alone expanding our services. We are actively seeking additional support because we see every day how transformative these groups are. Our youth have led incredible community service projects. One example is Voices of Change, a documentary created by older youth and young adults who share honestly about identity, belonging, grief, resilience, family, and hope. This project has empowered them to speak boldly and has educated caregivers and professionals across the province and at international symposiums. These youth are now mentoring others, exploring new creative projects, continuing to strengthen and influence our community through their voices. As we acknowledge Adoption Awareness Month, I want to ask for your partnership as my home city. Please help spread the word that these supports exist, especially for child and youth hangouts and other youth-led initiatives. Many families in Brampton do not know where to turn to after the adoption finalizes. A simple referral, a shared link, a conversation with a community partner can make an enormous difference. I've brought some brochures with me today. Together, we can ensure that every child and youth living in an adoptive or permanency family and every adult who walks beside them feels supported in their community here in Brampton. Thank you for your time.
Councillor Broad, the next speaker.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to say thank you, Don, and thank you for the Ontario Adoption Council of Ontario for all the work that they do. And our next will be JFJ Hope Center Adoption Services. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Holly, and I'm a birth parent counselor at JFJ Hope Center. And Michelle and I are going to just share a little story to start. A young woman from a small village in India arrives in Canada to study. She has no family here. Excuse me. She meets a guy, also an international student, a connection from home for each of them. One thing leads to another, and 9 months later, she's not feeling well and can't bear the discomfort. And she resigns herself that she's going to have to go to the hospital and she's going to have to pay to be seen. She can only hope it's not going to cost too much money. At the hospital, she is told she is having a baby. How can this be? What is she going to do? She can't tell the family because this will bring shame and she may be disowned. She can't parent. She is too young. She's here to study, and she has no money and no support. But this baby is coming. No one can find out. The birth parents are alone. When their child is born, they immediately fall in love. But no, they cannot parent. They decide to make an adoption plan. For many birth parents who choose adoption, they are giving a gift to the adoptive parents. It is a huge, selfless act to place their child for adoption.
Over the past years at JFJ, we have seen an increase in birth parents who are exploring the option of adoption. This includes birth mothers and birth fathers from the South Asian community, with a significant percent of these birth parents being in our own Brampton area. We also have a significant number of our adoptive parents or our parents who are waiting, calling Brampton their home. Adoption is part of our community. 1 in 4 people are touched by adoption and may not know it. Historically, adoption was seen as a solution to a problem. The problem of maybe an unplanned pregnancy, the problem of infertility. With this came the view of shame and secrecy. Today, adoption is a loving choice, a choice that takes planning, understanding, and is honoring to the child, birth parents, and the adoptive family. A choice that brings the birth family and the adoptive family together, spreading love and growth as new relationships are created. Adoption is not a one-time event, but rather a lifelong journey for everyone who is involved. A journey that comes with unique struggles and joys. One that as a community we would do well to learn more about so we can be a support to those touched by adoptions and help reduce those feelings of shame and secrecy around the topic. At JFJ, we have the privilege to see the courage and resilience of birth parents, adoptive parents, and adoptees, recognizing adoption is a unique, complex, and lifelong journey. And we at JFJ as well are here for all those members of the Adoption Constellation, both pre- and post-placement. This Adoption Awareness Month, let's start together normalizing the conversation of adoption and increase our understanding of this beautiful journey. Let's take moments to learn about adoption and celebrate the loving choice and wonderful gift that adoption is. Thank you.
Last but not least, Councillor Burrow, introduce the last delegation.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I just want to say thank you to Holly and Michelle, and thank you for that story, Holly. I think we've heard that all the time, that, you know, when we think about prenatal care and how it's covered by the government, but also thank you for your unwavering commitment and support to families in Brampton, especially last year when you contribute to our motion for strengthening pregnancy support and adoption assistance, which was advocacy support. So I thank you again for that. And our next speaker will be Dr. Bill, a physician, incredible worker I've known, and just wanted to talk about her passion for adoption. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor Patrick Brown, council members, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today and to give you a glimpse of my life and journey. I'm a physician at Trillium Health Partners. I'm an internal medicine specialist. I did my medical school and training at the University of Toronto. I've been in practice about 10 years now. I'm also the service medical director at Trillium Health Partners, so I'm humbled and privileged to say that I'm an accomplished physician and an accomplished female physician leader in medicine. With all the accomplishments, I would say you don't get success in everything, in every aspect of your life. I think for me, that's been motherhood for now. If you know the medical system in Canada, we go through a long haul. We're in school for about 15 years. So by the time I graduated, I was in my early 30s. I didn't meet my husband till I was in my mid-30s. And then together we had a long, struggle-full fertility journey. We always talked about adoption, even while we were going through our fertility journey. We never went down that path at the time. I had some emotional turmoil during that time as well. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I lost my mom 2 years ago. Sorry. That was a very hard time. I couldn't do anything for a year, and then in the last year, we decided we're going to start our journey again. We've looked into adoption and started our process. My husband and I are very passionate about adoption, and for us, it was very important for us to reach out to someone we really trusted. And at the time, I reached out to Mr. Bhatia and his wife, Tia. Mr. Bhatia has been a guiding light and inspiration for both my husband and I, and we're so thankful for him, all of his advice and guidance that he's provided us. I also want to say I'm so proud and feel so humbled to see how Mr. Bhatia and Mrs. Bhatia have raised a beautiful and accomplished young woman, Dia Bhatia. I hope that we can do the same one day. So we're on the journey. We are working hard, and we do want some support. It feels like the adoption journey in Ontario is a little bit tricky in the sense that there's not clear guidance and there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unknowns. We were told, just for example, as a thing that came up the other day, that because both my husband and I are in our 40s, it might be difficult for us to adopt because the birth mothers are not as favorable and not as receptive to adoptive parents in their 40s. Again, this is all hearsay, this is all stuff that we're hearing, but again, it's not clear cut as to what the actual path forward for us is. So we would really hope to make this an easier path for all future adoptive parents, including ourselves, and we do hope that we can have a baby who we can provide a very warm, loving, and financially stable household to. So thank you again for giving me the chance to speak here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Councillor Brar, we're going to present the proclamations.
Yes, thank you through you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Dr. Bill, for that story, sharing the other side of adoptive parents wanting to adopt. And now we'll do a picture with our proclamation.
And I would note for all those who are speaking today, Councillor Brar did tell me that there'll be a subsequent advocacy motion coming to relay what you spoke about and how we can make it easier for adoption in Ontario and Canada. And we look forward, I'm sure, to all of us unanimously supporting Councillor Brar's motion. Our next proclamation is, a motion to receive that delegation. All those in favor? That was moved by Councillor Brar, second by Councillor Pelletier. Okay, our next proclamation is Black Veterans Day. Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Black Veterans Day provides an opportunity to honor the sacrifice of Black veterans in Canada. With courage, pride, patriotism, and resiliency, these individuals were able to transform themselves from enslaved people into soldiers. They earned the right to call themselves free, where they were able to start a new life in Canada. On November 7th, 1775, Colonial Governor Lord Dunmore of Virginia issued a proclamation that offered freedom to enslaved Africans who would leave their American oppressors to join the British Army. This granted those enslaved an opportunity for freedom and the first chance to serve in the military in North America. The Black Veterans Day Committee is committed to preserving the rich history of the success and the struggles to be seen as equal and capable military personnel. Brampton is the first city in the world to recognize this day as Black Veterans Day. It was first celebrated on November 7th, 2002 at Emancipation Park, which is the only one of its kind in Canada. The candlelight vigil at Gage Park is an annual tradition, and a poppy planting takes place at Emancipation Park. This occasion marks a special day, which makes Remembrance Week a much more diverse and equitable time of celebration and commemoration as we address the struggles of the people of African descent to go through, to fight, and to die for this country that we all love. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim November 7th, 2025 as Black Veterans Day in the city of Brampton.
Okay, and I believe we're gonna have a response. Dwight?
Should have some tissues up here. It gets emotional up here. My goodness. Well, great morning to you all. It's an absolute honor to be standing in front of you all again. The word says that this is the day the Lord has made and we should be glad in it. But today I'm exceedingly glad to hear that November 7th Black Veterans Day proclamation read today in Canada, exactly 250 years after the Dunmore Proclamation of 1775, which was produced in America but authored and authorized by a British governor, makes this moment an international landmark that has taken centuries to manifest. And now we are here. Just as the 1775 proclamation gave root to Black veterans in those countries, today's proclamation is giving fruit to Black veterans, fruit for their labor, fruit for the toil, and flowers for the resiliency and adaptability. We can all understand how difficult it is to love thy enemy, but to fight and to die for an enemy is proof of patriotism to this country and allegiance to the foundational concepts of democracy and unity. And that has always been the case for Black veterans who deserve the recognition of having to fight two wars, one at home and abroad. Black veterans fought through suppression, aggression, omission, and difficulty with great discrimination, all just to have the honor to defend and, if necessary, die for this land. What began for us in Brampton just a few years ago, we were simply celebrating a historical first as we were commemorating Emancipation Park's flagpole for the Black Emancipation Month flag. And just by God's divine order, we chose November 7th as the day to celebrate it. And that eventually led us to the discovery of the significance of the date. And now Black Veterans Day is forever a part of Remembrance Week. And on behalf of Black veterans in Canada and around the world, we've come here today to say thank you. Our humble and historical moment in 2022 made headlines on CNN, which read, "Canadian holiday comes to the United States." And since then, Black Veterans Day has grown internationally, and we can credit the change that happened right here in these chambers. So thank you again, and thank you to all the veterans of all walks of life for what you do for us all. As founder of Black Veterans Day and the grandson and the brother of veterans, we are committed to working diligently every day to ensure that Black veterans are given the recognition, the respect, and resources they deserve and earn through their service and sacrifice. And our work goes beyond what is being done here today, but it has started here today. And we thank Brampton for being a city that supports and embraces and honors veterans in such an incredible way. Simple gestures as free transit for veterans, or the incredible monuments such as the Veteran Statue in Gage Park. We do hope to add another in Emancipation Park to Black veterans, which is located on Dixie Road, which has been ceremoniously recognized as Veteran Memorial Roadway and the birthplace of Black Veterans Day. As much as this is about the past, it is about the future. And as Canada in recent years has taken international and intentional steps to apologize to Black veterans for the treatment and omission, in the U.S., contributions of Black veterans are being erased from history books and historical places of reference. So either way, this is the right time for Black Veterans Day. And although the poppies are gone from our clothing, we are still planting poppies all year round to grow them in the wild at Emancipation Park and in homes across North America so they can be given to veterans during Remembrance Week. I've also decided to wear these combat boots for the remainder of the month to literally walk in their boots. And we'll take place and participate in a walk along with the True Patriot Love charity for Canadians Walk Across Canada. I'm honored, of course, to accept this proclamation here in this hallowed chambers on the 250th anniversary of the birth of Black veterans on behalf of veterans and their families who have given so much. Thank you.
Thank you. If you want to grab a seat, and then when we finish the proclamations, we'll do a photo with you.
Very happy to.
Thank you.
So much.
Our next proclamation is for Tamil Elam National Flag Day. I'll read that out. Every year on November 21st, Elam Tamils worldwide commemorate Tamil Elam National Flag Day. This day symbolizes the collective identity of the Elam Tamil nation and their ongoing resistance to the genocide perpetrated against them since the 1930s. The Voice of Global Tamil Rights is an organization dedicated to advocating for international justice for the Tamil genocide, preserving and archiving the Tamil history, and advancing the right to self-determination of Elam Tamils. On this day, the Tamil Elam National Flag is ceremonially hosted, and a series of events and workshops are held to honor the resistance against genocide while fostering dialogue on Tamil history, culture, and identity. These activities aim to raise awareness, celebrate the significance of the Flag Day, and foster a sense of shared understanding and solidarity among Elam Tamils, Brampton residents, and the broader community. I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim November 21st, 2025 as Tamil Elam National Flag Day in the city of Brampton. And I believe we have a representative from the Voice of Global Tamil Rights who will respond to the proclamation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kumudini. I stand before you today as a proud Canadian, a proud Tamil from occupied Tamilulam, and as a member of Voice of Global Tamil Rights. It is an honor to be here for the proclamation of Tamilulam National Flag Day. For Tamils around the world, this flag carries deep meaning. It is not merely a symbol. It represents the blood, the sacrifice, and the unshakable resilience of our people. It reflects the lived reality of a nation that has endured decades of oppression, discrimination, and genocide under the Sri Lankan state. And it carries the spirit of those who fought, those who survived, and those who never had the chance to stand in a space like this. Today, in this council chamber, on this land that values human rights, justice, and freedom, we are able to raise our voices without fear. That is a privilege of our families back home did not have. As Elam Tamil Canadians, we cherish this opportunity and we use it to honor the past, to speak truth, and to advocate boldly for justice. As a representative of Voice of Global Tamil Rights, I am especially proud today. Our organization works to amplify the voices of our people, to defend human rights, and to ensure the world does not forget the genocide we endured and continue to endure through military occupation and systemic repression. This proclamation is more than a ceremonial gesture. It acknowledges the pain, the history, and the identity of Elam Tamil Canadians. It recognizes the dignity of our struggle, and it reinforces that in this city, our stories matter. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to Mayor Patrick Brown and to Brampton City Council for your consistent support and solidarity. By recognizing Tamalulam National Flag Day, you stand with a community that has carried unimaginable loss but continues to move forward with strength, unity, and hope. To all Ulam Tamil Canadians here today and across the country, we stand together, we stand proud, and we stand committed to pursuing justice, preserving our identity, and honoring our homeland. Thank you. Tamlarantagam, Tamlilatayagam.
Thank you for coming forward today. When we finish the proclamations, we'd love to take a photo with you. With the proclamation, of course, we're looking forward to our annual flag raising at Ken Willans Square. And to note, we're very proud in the city of Brampton to have our Tamil Genocide Memorial at Shinkuzi Park that speaks to our commitment to making sure this history is not erased by a Sri Lankan government that continues to not be accountable for the crimes against humanity. And I would note that when the Tamil Genocide Memorial was unveiled in Brampton, it was the Rajapaksa family and that protested this memorial for the grief of lost loved ones. And I found it incredible and offensive that a member of the Rajapaksa family that committed a genocide that killed over 100,000 innocent civilians still serves in the Sri Lankan parliament. It speaks to the lack of justice and accountability, and tragically how far we are away from meaningful reconciliation. So thank you for being here, for raising your voice, and we're proud to raise the Tamil Elam national flag in the city of Brampton. Nandri. Our next proclamation is Talk to a Stranger Week, and I believe Councillor Power will be reading that out.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, Talk to a Stranger Week. Talk to a Stranger Week, which takes place from November 24th to the 30th, is intended to raise awareness of the benefits of talking to strangers, giving Canadians the excuse and permission to make it happen. GenWell is a Canadian-led human connection movement and registered Canadian charity that seeks to highlight the need for all Canadians to recognize the importance of human connection for their health, happiness, longevity, and the betterment of society. This week encourages people to talk to strangers to create connections for the well-being of citizens and the betterment of the community. Talking to strangers can happen in the line of the grocery store, at the coffee shop, at a retail store, in a classroom or workplace, on a plane, train, or bus, waiting for the elevator, or in your local neighborhood. You can also say hello, give a compliment, speak about current event, ask for directions, celebrate or complain about the weather, tell a joke, make light of the situation, and more. Research shows that people who speak to strangers can experience increased optimism, trust, and a sense of safety, inclusion, belonging, and community. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of City Council, do hereby proclaim November 24th to the 30th, 2025 as Talk to a Stranger Week in the City of Brampton.
Thank you, Councillor Power. Is there a representative of that organization here today? I don't see one, so we'll go to our next proclamation, and we're going to read these two proclamations out and then together, and this is being led by Councillor Brar and Councillor Santos for International Day of the Elimination of Violence Against Women, which is November 25th, and 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, which is also November 25th. Over to Councillor Brar and Santos.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, International Day of Elimination of Violence Against Women. November is Women Abuse Prevention Month, and November 25th is the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women, as well as for the first of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Violence is the greatest gender inequality rights issue for women, girls, and gender-diverse individuals. Our community is committed to ending femicide and all forms of gender-based violence. The Wrapped in Courage flag will be raised during Women Abuse Prevention Month in recognition that the courage of women alone is not enough. It takes an entire community to end gender-based violence. This month and throughout the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, we acknowledge our community's support of Wrapped in Courage campaign and commitment to ending gender-based violence. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim November 25th, 2025 as the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women in the City of Brampton. Thank you.
The
Councillor
16
Santos.
days, oh, thank you, go ahead. Thank you, Mayor. 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, whereas the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence is an annual international campaign that begins on November the 25th, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, until December the 10th, Human Rights Day. The campaign started in 1991 to call out and speak up on gender-based violence and to renew our commitment to ending violence against women, girls, and 2S LGBTQI plus individuals. The Zonta Club of Brampton Caledon has served the local community over 50 years with the mission of making a better world for women and girls, and continues to provide service with a commitment to end gender-based violence. The latest United Nations statistics show that every 10 minutes, partners and family members killed a woman or a girl intentionally. 1 in 3 women experience violence in their lifetime, and 1 in 4 adolescent girls is abused by their partners. There is no excuse for violence against women and girls. Violence against women and girls can and must be prevented. And on that day, starting November 25th till December 10th, we honor and remember the lives lost, the victims, and those suffering in silence as we collectively fight for a better tomorrow. Advocacy and deeper conversations held by trust and support need to be given towards this subject. Therefore, I, on behalf of Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of the Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim November 25th to December 10th, 2025 as the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence in the city of Brampton.
And I believe we have a response to both proclamations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor Brown and Council, and for everyone in the city who has been so supportive of not only this particular proclamation, but all the activities and events over the next 16 days. The Zonta Club of Brampton Caledon has worked hard to make Brampton and the world a better place for women and girls. We know that this is a priority of this council to make Brampton a safer place. Intimate partner violence is a pandemic to which we know that in 2003, Peel Police responded to just over 16,000 incidences of family and intimate partner violence. That's 44 disputes every day, or almost 2 every hour. That's just what's reported, as most incidents, as you know, are not reported. In Brampton, where last month, Savannah Kula, mother of 4, was murdered in broad daylight in a public place by a previous intimate partner. Heartbreaking that she is not the only woman who has lost her life in Brampton and Peel region this year. In Ontario, from November 26, 2003 to November 25, 2024, 62 women or girls have lost their life according to the annual femicide list from the Ontario Association of Interval and Transition Houses. Intimate partner violence is a pandemic in Canada. Every 48 hours in Canada, 1 woman or girl is violently killed by a man. We invite you to join us to talk about this in the lighting of the City Hall clock on Tuesday, November the 25th at 6 p.m. Join us to say no to violence against women. Zonta says no to violence against women. And thank you for all your support.
Thank you. And I believe we have one more proclamation, and then we'll do a photo for those proclamations as well. The last proclamation is for Economic Abuse Awareness Day, and our Deputy Mayor Singh will read that.
Whereas domestic economic abuse is a common but overlooked form of domestic violence that limits an individual's financial autonomy, including denying access and control over resources or constraining economic freedom, whereas barriers to economic resources undermine a survivor's independence, including the ability to flee abusive relationships. Economic abuse has detrimental effects on a survivor's mental and physical well-being and other social detriments of health. Economic abuse happens across socioeconomic status, race, and age, and is exasperated by intersectional and systemic factors, whereas economic abuse survivors have the right to be free from violence and must feel empowered to regain control over their lives. All levels of government must work together to prevent economic abuse. The City of Brampton commits to supporting victims and survivors of economic abuse and encourages everyone to inform themselves about the signs and impacts of economic abuse. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim November 26, 2025 as Economic Abuse Awareness Day in the City of Brampton. Thank you.
And is there anyone for that delegation? Seeing none, we will take the photos with the proclamations, and then we'll move on to announcements. So for those that give a proclamation, please join me at the front. Denny, sorry. Can I do this one? Just the firefighters?
No, let's take a shot.
What is it for?
Thanks, members of council. We have next up on the agenda 6.2 announcement, Brampton firefighters lavender truck campaign. Council announcement. The sponsor is Councillor Power. Councillor Power, would you like to speak first, or?
Do we want to do just a cross check?
Okay. From Brampton firefighters. Akil, hey, please come forward. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Mayor Brown, members of council, commissioners, city staff, BPFFA executive members, Deputy Von Holt, our sponsors that are in presence here, and other guests. My name is Akil, and I'm a firefighter as well as the Charity and Community Events Coordinator for the Brampton Professional Firefighters Association. Approximately 10 weeks ago, I stood before many of you and in front of the future site of Brampton Second Hospital as we launched our first annual lavender truck campaign in support of the Osler Health Foundation and their work to build a second hospital in Brampton and to provide enhanced cancer care services here in the city. Since that time, the lavender truck campaign has attended over 20 events in our community and contributed over 500 volunteer hours at those events. Events included community baseball tournaments, barbecues hosted by councillors, fill the boot drives at local malls, and Diwali festivities, to name a few. At all those events, the Lavender Truck campaign has certainly drawn a crowd, but it also initiated conversations on why it's lavender. We seize those opportunities to share the reason why, as well as the importance of supporting those that are fighting cancer and the programs and facilities that are required to do so. Through the sales of t-shirts with donations from community members and like-minded businesses, and the generosity of our sponsors, and with support from not only our fire management team, but also the members of the BPFFA, we have had a successful first year of our campaign. When I first proposed this project to the Osler Foundation, my goal was to double the $5,000 that the BPFFA members would be donating, and to gather a total of $10,000 for the Osler Foundation. At our kickoff event, I shared with you that we had exceeded that goal and had achieved $20,000 through the generosity of our sponsors. Now, at the conclusion of our campaign, accounting for some last-minute donations that are still coming in, and with the immeasurable help of my friend Nick Cahunia from Rexdale Financial, I am beyond ecstatic to share with you that in our first year, we have raised $50,000 for the Osler Health Foundation and their work here in Brampton. I'd like to thank all of you for your support on this campaign, because without you, this campaign would not have been possible. And with that said, planning for our 2026 campaign starts now, and I'm hoping that we continue to count on our current sponsors as well as new ones as we look to make the 2026 campaign bigger. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Akil, and let me just say thank you to the Brampton Professional Firefighters Association for stepping up for such an important cause. I know the day of your launch, we actually managed to get the shirt on the Premier and the Minister of Health, because we had a meeting with the hospital down at Queen's Park, and I've seen those shirts around the city, which is wonderful. I also want to take this moment to thank Paul Lecomte for his service as a head of the Brampton Professional Firefighters Association. You've shown incredible dedication and devotion, and although your term ends on January 1st, know that the city has a debt of gratitude for your advocacy on behalf of firefighters in our city. We know you run towards danger and very difficult conditions to give our city the sense of safety. And so thank you. A round of applause to Paul Lecomte for his service to the city. And to Brent Robillard. Is Brent here too? No, well, we look forward to continuing great campaigns like this in the years ahead. And thank you once again for Brampton Fire being amongst the best of the best. Thank you for sharing the news and the success of the campaign. Okay, our next item is Michael Vickers, Executive Director, Brampton Arts Organization, who has up to 2 minutes at the podium to talk about the BO Winter Artist Market, and this is sponsored by Councillor Tor.
Just brought some of the folks that you've helped support with me along today. Through the mayor, thank you very much for hosting us today. Good morning, and if I may ask for a very short extension, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. Ultimately, the Brampton Arts Organization is here today to say a very big thank you to council and many city staff across cultural services, realty, facilities, and IDS as we celebrate a new milestone with BOW's new studio rentals. Feels like Christmas has come a little bit early for the arts community, so a big thank you. In collaboration with the city, this project strengthens downtown, supports local artists, and reflects our shared commitment to creative city building. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, I think you've skipped ahead. Oh, if you could go to number 4, please. Thank you. Just for a quick before and after, I came to council a few months ago saying that we could easily and affordably work together to turn unused city property like this into creative space through Meanwhile Leasing. Next slide. And after. This transformation is what happens when we support artists with the right tools and space, and how unused municipal buildings, can support creatives. This is just one unit in 8 Nelson where Beehive and BOW both exist, but much of the space still sits vacant. Next slide, please. Previously, an office that sat unloved and empty for several years, next slide, please, is now an office and workspace for local newcomer artist Aditi Sangwan and countless other local businesses, painters, poets, fashion workers, and more, including several individuals that have escaped conflict overseas. Next slide, please. Oh, I think you have my slides out of order. I'll just continue on. Through BOW, the Innovation District can now say it's offering creative businesses and artists some of the most affordable creative space in all of Ontario. These new rentals fill empty units, increase foot traffic, and add energy to downtown Brampton. We drive forward the Culture Master Plan and build momentum towards future infrastructure, including the new Arts and Culture Centre in 2028, and hopefully a place for the arts in the new Centre for Innovation. Next slide, please. Ultimately, this is smart business. Over 30 artists will be spending their money locally downtown on food, supplies, and services, which, by a rough estimation, can bring in $150,000 in direct economic impact to support downtown Brampton. These artist studios bring new visitors to downtown, support local businesses, and create new jobs. I'd also like to acknowledge some other wins that the city has made on creative space. Our lease at 8 Nelson was extended by another year. Thank you very much. The Region of Peel has introduced a new below market rent policy for nonprofits, which we hope can set a precedent for local efforts. And Cultural Services and the Advanced Brampton Fund have launched the new Arts and Culture Space Improvement Stream, which is another really major step forward. As far as the work ahead, we would love to see more empty and underused city properties activated temporarily for creative use. We're preparing for the new Arts and Culture Centre to launch in 2028, and we hope that the city will continue to explore capital strategies, a creative space tax subclass, and including cultural space in all of its new city projects. These studios are just the beginning of a more vibrant, creative, and economically strong downtown, in addition to a safer one. And it has been made possible thanks to your forward-thinking leadership at Council and all of your support. We hope you join us next Tuesday at 11 a.m. for our ribbon cutting. And then, as mentioned there, we also have provided you all with an invite to the Brampton Winter Artist Market, which will be this Saturday at Springdale Library, featuring dozens of local vendors, including some of the folks here today that have, wrap it up, and that have now studio spaces where they can make work and sell it at this market. So a big thank you again.
Thank you. And I believe Councillor Santos has a comment.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much for this update. I was actually at the new studio spaces yesterday and saw so many familiar faces of artists who are already using it. So I look forward to the official ribbon cutting. It matters a lot that these spaces are now available to our artists to practice and create and not have to worry about the mess or like what to do next. And on top of that, then being able to sell things at the Christmas market, which every year I go to, and buy presents for various family members and friends for the holidays. So thank you very much. I look forward to next week. I look forward to Saturday, and as always end up spending a lot more than I was planning to. But happy to support all of our local artists in the city of Brampton.
Thank you. Okay, this takes us to the BAO Newcomer Creative Exchange Program Outcome and Debrief. And this is sponsored by Deputy Mayor Singh.
Good morning, respected Mayor and members of Council and community members present here. Myself, Aditi Ganeev Sangwan, and I'm a local Brampton-based artist. I'm pleased to share the success of Newcomer Creative Exchange Program, an initiative led by Brampton Arts Organization that celebrates the creative talents and cultural contributions to our city. The Newcomer Creative Exchange Program, developed by Brampton Arts Organization in 2024, provides a distinctive platform to Brampton-based newcomers to Canada. It offers opportunities to build community support, settle in, showcase their artistic work, and learn about local creative sector. The program is free and open to all Brampton residents who moved to Canada within the past 7 years. Next slide, please. As a newcomer myself, I'm fortunate to have this opportunity as a program facilitator for 2025. It was a meaningful experience as I got to welcome and support new immigrant creatives, fostering a sense of community and belonging. Over the past 2 years, BAO has hosted 12 workshops and supported 155 participants. Many of these participants have not only showcased their work in local exhibitions, but have also significantly contributed to our city's vibrant art scene, thereby enriching its cultural diversity. Next slide, please. Through these workshops, BAO connected newcomer artists with local mentors and creative peers. BAO curated 2 exhibitions, In a New Light and ongoing Pixel exhibition at Garden Square, on view daily until December 30th. Participants also had a chance to network through open mic performances with Lal Button. Next slide, please. These workshops have not only encouraged intercultural collaboration, but have also created strong partnerships with our program collaborators, Brampton Library, PAMA, Work in Culture, Happy Hands, Brampton Entrepreneur Center, Building Multicultural Communities, Living Hyphen, and Artist Therapy. We are deeply grateful for their support and look forward to continuing our collaborative efforts. Next slide, please. I want to thank Brampton Arts Organization for being the reason that newcomer creators feel included, welcomed, supported, safe, and valued. BAO has contributed in shaping my journey as an artist and creative entrepreneur. As founder of Art Studio ISA, where we work with visual art-based community engaged workshops, I had a wonderful experience as a participant in Artist in Residence program and have secured a studio in the new rental studio spaces. Next slide. There is a famous quote by Marty Rubin, "In the new surroundings, one grows new eyes." And this program has been instrumental in helping many of us, including the participants, to form a vision for creative pursuits in new ways, fostering personal growth and transformation. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we need a motion to receive the? Okay, yeah. The next one is Community Hub launch. Council sponsor is Regional Councillor Brewer.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, is Chichima Online from Peel Aid Society, Peel Children's Aid Society. Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Brown and council members, and thank you also to Rowena Santos, who actually sponsored this announcement today. My name is Chima Nsitem. I am the head of service at Peel Children's Aid Society, and I'd like to thank all of you again for your ongoing support. This is an announcement of our community hub. This is great news today. Being here today has been very, very helpful. When you look at the stats, within Peel, within the work that we do every day. 12,650 referrals received in 2024. 31% of that was intimate partner violence, 14% physical violence. 40% of referrals were from Mississauga, and 44% of referrals from Brampton. Out of all APTV investigations completed, 50% came from Brampton, 37% from Mississauga. Human trafficking has also been an area that Peel Children's Aid Society had been focused. We identified 166 cases this year, and also, additionally, 7,770 families were also serviced in 2024-2025. This diverse nature of service calls for a different platform of service for our clients. So on December 5th, 2025, community partners will be moving into PCAS building. And those community partners include Aboriginal Legal Services, Our Place Peel, Safe Center of Peel, Encourage, and Peel Regional Police. What's the purpose of having community partners work out of the same building? Our organization are making it easier for children, youth, and families to find and access help they need all under one roof. It reflects PCA's commitment to prevention-focused approach and also our commitment to community safety and well-being plan by enabling real-time collaboration, faster referrals, and a more connected support service across the sector. I know that my time is almost here. The new building's name is going to be called The Circle. It was co-developed with Indigenous partners to ensure service honor the rights, strength, and language and realities of First Nations. The circle is representative of a safe shape, calming and is symbolic of holistic wraparound services. Again, PCAS continues to function as an optimum organization within Peel region. And thank you so much again for all your support.
Thank you. And the additional one is? Oh, Councillor Santos.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. This next announcement is about the movie that was filmed in and also produced with various actors in it in the city of Brampton. And it is about I Am No Queen. And just about this time last year, during the Break the Silence campaign, during the 16 days of activism, as we were discussing the challenges and sexual exploitation of international student girls in our region, we did pass a motion to do a Brampton film screening of I Am No Queen with various organizations and nonprofits to highlight the other type of abuse, gender-based violence abuse, particularly of international student girls. And I'm so pleased to welcome Mino Bassi as well as Deep Bassi. If you could please come down. If you could also share a few words, because I'm not going to announce it. I would love for you to announce it. And I believe they also have a short video to play. And I know we're limited on time, so we have to keep it short. But I wanted to take this opportunity because I only found out about this, I think, a few days ago.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having us here. And this is a win for all of us. It was just a year ago we were standing in front of you guys with the plea to give hope to this. And now here we are standing at a global platform, listed for Oscars. It's currently streaming for global jury member in the Academy room. So every moment, every second matters because we've just entered the race. So there's a lot more work to be done. But you guys have been the pivotal the strength behind this. And without your support, we wouldn't have been where we are today. And my husband, absolutely, yes. Without his support, this seed wouldn't have even been flourished. You know, I often think, why did I do this when you put in so much time, energy, resources, and almost over just 2 years now into this project. And it's just one thing that comes to my mind is when I was hiring these young girls for my wellness business, it's when these girls told me that girls in Brampton are ready to sell themselves for a bag of milk. And that itself was enough for me to take action. And I guess indirectly, I did adopt all of them because I wanted to be their voice so that they can be heard globally. Initially, being an entrepreneur, the mindset was let's hire all of them. But that was impossible. COVID happened, things were shut down. And but the movie happened, and as a result of that, I was able to discover a hidden passion to be the global voice for many people through cinema. And this movie was quite tiring because hearing so many stories, it breaks your heart over and over. And but we're gonna try to come up with something more fun now so that we do something more for the global audience where we bring the world together. That includes all ethnicities. And so hope to speak about that in the future. And my husband, without him, this wouldn't have been happening. He's, with his smile, I smile. With his downfall, I fall. So him standing by here is the biggest strength that I have. And so thank you, babe.
Hello, everyone. I guess you guys all know why we started this project. It was just to create awareness and bring this issue to highlight. I think we've done that. We've taken the movie to Oscar, but I feel like we're not done yet. We still need city support, assistance from you to get this, spread this nationally. Just create awareness all over.
Sure.
In today's world, lots of people, especially young students, are migrating from third world countries to first world at all costs. You see, there's this girl named Ronnie, but she doesn't have a job. She's not able to pay her fees. She's such a bright student and she's gone through so much hardship. I just hope that there's something that the government of Canada can do.
Thank you.
Well,
No
thank you.
questions?
I don't see any questions, but we'll be cheering you on, and congratulations on your success.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, this takes us to 7.2, delegation from Gurinder Sidhu, Brampton resident, notice of motion to improve sepsis recognition and response. Councillor Brar has already requested that the time be extended if needed, and we'd be happy to do so. And let me just say, Gurinder, thank you for your courage to be here to advocate on your late wife's behalf. Your advocacy is inspiring.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gurinder Sidhu, and I live in Ward 1. My wife, Ravinder Kaur Sidhu, was a mother of 3 and a healthcare professional who served this community for 15 years. She ran physiotherapy clinics in Ward 2 and Ward 4 and our Oakville clinic. She was an entrepreneur, a woman who built her clinics from the ground up, helping thousands of people recover from their injuries, rebuild their strength, and return to their lives. For 15 years, she was a healer. But when she needed healing from our regional healthcare system, Credit Valley Hospital in Mississauga failed her every possible way. On June 19th, the day our young son was born, everything felt perfect. Ravinder had a smooth, normal delivery. Our baby was healthy. She was glowing. She held him in her arms, and I remember thinking, this is the happiest moment of my life. I was the happiest man in the world, holding my newborn son with his mother right beside him. Within few hours, everything collapsed. My happiness turned into the deepest unimaginable pain, and 3 days later, my wife died in my arms. I watched the person I loved the most slip away while I held her, and the moment will haunt me forever. Just hours after giving birth, Ravinder developed a 39.2 degrees Celsius fever, violent triggers, a white blood cell count nearly double the normal level, severe pelvic pain, confusion, dizziness, and total inability to walk. These are the textbook signs of sepsis. Signs every medical professional should immediately recognize. Signs Credit Valley Hospital's own protocols describes as critical and require urgent escalation. Yet yet every one of these signs were dismissed. The doctors dismissed them, the nurses dismissed them, the hospital dismissed them. And in doing so, they dismissed my wife's life. According to Credit Valley Hospital's own critical concern policies, any dangerous change in vital signs must be reported to a physician immediately, documented, read back, and escalated within minutes, not hours, minutes. But none of that happened. There were no blood cultures, no antibiotics, no rapid response call, no urgency, nothing. The golden hour of sepsis, the hour that determines survival, was ignored and wasted. From the night of June 19th into the morning of June 20th, my wife deteriorated in front of me. Her heart rate soared to 150s. Her blood pressure dropped to 63 by 35. She could not stand. She could not think clearly. Her kidneys were failing. Her sister, a nurse in Buffalo, saw her vital signs on a video call and said, "She is in septic shock. She needs ICU attention now," but her warning signs were dismissed. Credit Valley Hospital's own ICU policy states that the shock must trigger immediate activation of critical care response team, but no one activated it. Not a single doctor, not a single nurse. For nearly 10 hours, while her body was failing, they refused to follow their own policy. This wasn't a rare case. This wasn't an unpredictable illness. This was complete breakdown of accountability and responsibility. Sepsis treatment is simple and universally known. Immediate cultures, immediate antibiotics, immediate fluids, immediate ICU review, all within 1 hour. Ravinder did not receive these for 30 hours. 30 hours. Their own written response to me admits this delay, a delay that cost her life. And even when she finally reached to ICU, the failure continued. The surgery that could have saved her, removing her infected uterus, was delayed for almost 24 hours. She had severe pelvic pain. She had sepsis, where uterus is the known source, yet surgery was postponed until it was too late. When they finally operated, they found uterus and ovaries completely necrotic, dead tissue. That is how long they waited. They did not follow sepsis protocols, they did not follow surgical guidelines. They relied on bad judgment and incompetence. Bad judgment and incompetence cost her life. And now my family is broken, completely shattered. My daughter told me recently, "Daddy, Mommy came into my dream. I wish I never woke up." What do you say to a child who would rather live in a dream than in a world without her mother? My son draw her as a star in the sky because that's the only place he believed he can find her now. And my newborn, he will grow up never knowing the warmth of the touch or the sound of her voice. He was in her arms only for few hours. And me, even after almost 5 months, I still dream of Credit Valley Hospital. I replay different scenarios in my head every night, different decisions, different reactions, different moments where she could have been saved. I dream of ways to save her because I cannot accept the way hospital let her die. Our entire family has been torn apart by preventable tragedy. And even this was not enough, Credit Valley Hospital still refuses to provide me the full finding and recommendation of their internal review. Even after all this, they continue to hide information. A mother dies from preventable sepsis in their care, and they will not share the truth with her family. And now, after seeing the Trillium Health Partners submitted to this very council a letter yesterday, I want to make something very clear. Trillium Health Partner acknowledges in writing that there are gaps in sepsis recognition, gaps in early detection, and gaps in clinical response. They admitted the need for standardized protocols and system-wide improvement. But at the same time, they refused to give me the findings of their own internal review into my wife's death. They acknowledge the system failed, but they refuse accountability. They acknowledge the gap exists, but they keep hiding the truth. They support the motion in public, but they deny transparency in private. A hospital cannot claim commitment to patient safety while withholding the very review that explains how a healthy, strong mother died under their watch. You cannot fix what you refuse to admit. You cannot rebuild trust through secrecy. All families like mine cannot heal without truth. Credit Valley Hospital failed my wife, doctors failed her, the nurses failed her, not because protocols did not exist, because they refused to follow the protocols they themselves created. A healthy, strong mother is gone forever because of their negligence, their delays, and their refusal to act. I'm standing here because no family should ever endure what mine has. No husband has to told his wife as she dies from the preventable death, hold her wife as she dies from her preventable death. No child should pray they never wake up just to see their mother again in a dream. No newborn should have to grow up without knowing the woman who brought him into this world. This was not fate, this was not unavoidable. It was failure, a failure by a hospital that did not follow its own rules, and a failure they are still trying to hide. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Gurinder, for the courage to share your story. And I think we all feel the same way, that it's atrocious. It makes me angry and upset. What an abysmal failure of our healthcare system, of Credit Valley, in terms of training, detection, and treatment of sepsis. Councillor Brar has a motion that we'll be dealing with after. There's some questions for you, but we'll do everything we can to be your voice and amplify your story. But thank you for having the courage to come forward today. We have Councillor Brar, followed by Councillor Keenan and Councillor Santos.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor, and just want to say thank you, Gurinder, for coming here. I know this is the hardest thing you've ever done, speaking to you, and when we were having a coffee and you were telling me your story, it really hit home because as a respiratory therapist working in healthcare, there was another case that came up, I think around 8 to 9 years ago at North York, where another mother who had passed away from postpartum sepsis. And I did end up thinking at that time, you know, these are the changes that we want to make, and that's how we want to go into politics and just for the people of Brampton and the residents that live here. But then when you brought this up, it really hit home. And first of all, condolences to your family. Very heavy heart here, really, when we speak about the tragedy that deeply affected, you know, the whole community. And I think the whole community really felt it. The loss of Ravinder Kaur Sidhu. She was a loving mother, like you said, and a wife from Brampton who had passed away from sepsis just weeks after giving birth. Ravinder showed clear warning signs: fever, severe pain, shaking, vomiting. Yet despite these urgent symptoms, treatments were delayed for nearly 30 hours. 30 hours where her family waited, hoping for her recovery. 30 hours that tragically changed everything. No family should ever have to endure the pain of losing a beloved mother, a wife, and a daughter to something that could have been prevented. And one of the critical issues is that Ontario currently has no clear legal mandate requiring all hospitals to follow a standardized sepsis protocol or like a sepsis bundle. So this means that patients can receive very different care depending on where they are treated. And when seconds count, inconsistency can cost lives. So sepsis is a silent and ruthless killer. It can take a life within hours, but it can also be stopped if recognized and treated early. So this motion calls for urgent action, standardized sepsis protocols across all healthcare settings, mandatory training for all clinical staff, and greater awareness in our community, so no other family suffers the heartbreak Ravinder's family has endured. And we owe it to Ravinder, to her husband and her children, and to all the families in Brampton in Ontario to make healthcare safer and more consistent. So let's act with urgency, compassion, and let's resolve this. So I'll be bringing the motion in forward. I do see other councillors on the board. I'll let them speak first. Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair.
So I'm going to pull the motion up in case members of council want to speak to the motion as well. And the motion we can put on the screen. Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. Thank you so much for coming in today. As a father of four, you live my biggest nightmare. Every time I went into the hospital, that was my biggest nightmare. So thank you for coming out today. You know, I have a story. I've lived through something not even close to similar, but my mother was very sick, went into the Georgetown Hospital. I arrived there to see her. She wasn't herself. She was out of it. And the doctor brought me in and said, we've done some scans of your mom's chest. She has a bit of pneumonia. We're going to send her home. And I said, you're not going to send her home. This isn't my mother. She's not herself. So please, can you keep her? She said to me, well, the inn is full. And I said, well, thank God this is not a hotel. You're not letting her go. We left that night. An Italian doctor came in, and that doctor saved my mom's life. She had sepsis. Had I taken my mom out of that hospital, she wouldn't be with us today. Within 6 hours, she was on life support. Medevac. And great doctors with experience took care of her. But the inexperienced first doctor could have cost my mother her life. 10 years ago, mom's still healthy. I will do whatever I can to advocate for this. I will support it wholeheartedly. And I am truly sorry for your loss. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Santos. Yes. Okay, Deputy Mayor Singh.
Heavy day on council today. Heavy day. Gurinder, I know we met, and once again, our deepest condolences, I think, from staff, from council, everybody. It's a devastating story, and I know you've been on a journey to raise your voice on this issue. I know you felt like people weren't listening, but I hope today you feel like the city of Brampton is listening. It won't bring back the devastating loss, but have solace in the fact you are making a difference. I know I had the opportunity to get debriefed, and I know some of the ideas that are being put, and I know you're working on those ideas being put forward to actually make an impact, actually make a change so nobody else suffers from this again. Thank you, Councillor Keenan, for sharing your personal story regarding sepsis. I also want to acknowledge the work of Councillor Brar. I know as soon as I introduced you, she took this and she worked on it. I want to thank Mayor Brown. He did some media on this for amplifying your voice. This council will stand shoulder to shoulder to advocate for change, and I hope you feel that, and we'll continue to work with you. Thank you so much.
Councillor Brar.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. So I just want to have our motion on the screen and just kind of want to read it out loud because this is a sensitive topic and seeing that is very important today. So we have a motion where sepsis is a life-threatening response to infection with significant morbidity and mortality. And whereas Canadian researchers, in response to recent sepsis-related deaths throughout Ontario, highlighted the need for early detection and escalation protocols across the system, are calling for progress towards national action plan that includes standards and guidelines for the prevention, early diagnosis, and management of sepsis. And whereas early detection and treatment of sepsis can significantly reduce mortality and consistent application of screening tools and protocols is critical. Therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Brown write a letter to the Ministry of Health and Ontario Health advocating for standardized protocols to support early recognition and timely intervention for sepsis, and calling for standardized training on sepsis identification, escalation, and management procedures across the health sector. And further, that the letter be shared with the local Ontario health teams for their information and to advocate for a coordinated system-wide approach to sepsis awareness and prevention. And further, that Sepsis Awareness Month be recognized by the City of Brampton and added to the important and commemorative dates listing for the months of September on an annual basis. And I just want to see if we can forward this letter to our local MPs and MPPs and forward it to the Region Appeal. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Recorded vote.
This is now back on the list.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Councillor Brar, for bringing this important motion forward, and to you and all victims who have gone through this and their families. It is definitely something that needs to get a lot better, significantly better. And Councillor Brar, who has worked on this particular issue, thank you, Councillor Brar, incredible work, and I'm so proud to support it, and hopefully this doesn't happen again.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Santos. We have the motion on the floor. A recorded vote has been requested. And the Region Appeal. That a friendly, Councillor Brar? Yeah. Okay, recorded vote.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. All those in favor of the motion as it's shown on screen, please stand. I see Councillor Power, Deputy Mayor Singh, Mayor Brown, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Palashi, Councillor Brar, and Councillor Santos, and online. Councillor Fortini, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Councillor Medeiros, how do you vote? I'll move on to Councillor Vicente. How do you vote?
In favor.
And just check with Councillor Medeiros. How do you vote?
Okay,
That
motion
motion is
carries.
carried.
This takes us to our next item, which is motion to receive the delegation, moved by Councillor Brar, seconded by Councillor Palashi. All those in favor, motion carries. This takes us to, are there any questions in the public or online? Seeing none. This takes us to bylaws. We have a motion moved by Councillor Santos, seconded by Councillor Power, to approve bylaws 186-2025 to 196-2025 inclusive. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our closed session business. It is 11:25. Why don't we return at 12 o'clock so people can have a chance to grab a bite, and we'll go in camera. So this meeting is all in favor? Motion carries. This meeting is now recessed in order for council to consider its closed session business. Members of council, after we recess, please join us in committee boardroom CH4A. To members of public watching today's meetings, all meetings of council must start and end in public after closed session is completed. Council will reconvene in public session to complete its business on today's agenda, including reporting out any actions arising from closed session portion of the meeting, passing and confirming bylaw to confirm the proceedings and decisions from this meeting, and adjourning the meeting. Thank you. Okay, in the continuing interest of transparency and open government, I will report in public session any outcomes from today's closed session business as a result of closed session today, and the clerk will put on the screen. Item 19.3 was considered. Procedural direction was given to defer the item to the December 10th, 2025 meeting of council. 19.4 was considered. Procedural direction was given to refer to staff. 19.5 was considered. Direction was given to staff. 19.6 was considered. Direction was given to staff. 19.7 was considered. Direction was given to staff. Okay. And do we need a motion for any of this? No. Okay, so take us to the confirming bylaw. I have a motion moved by Councillor Singh, seconded by Councillor Power, to approve the confirming bylaw to confirm the proceedings and decisions from this meeting. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to adjournment. Our next council meeting is Wednesday, December 10th, 9:30 a.m. I have a motion moved by Councillor Santos, seconded by Councillor Brar to adjourn today's meeting. All those in favor? Motion carries.